In the previous chapter, we saw Chu Qingqing and her team face Lu Xie's ferocious assault. Using the encompassing poison net and soul poison explosion, Lu Xie aimed to disrupt the four-element cycle, a ray. The stage erupted with explosions, and it seemed the formation might collapse. Yet, when the smoke cleared, Chu Qingqing stood tall, her icy blade pointed at Lu Xie's throat, surrounded by crystalline ice that neutralized his poison. Despite their injuries, her teammates remained steadfast, channeling their energy into her. The crowd roared, realizing the four-element cycle array was far from defeated. Let's begin the story. This can't be. Lu Xie's voice trembled, his face pale with disbelief. He wasn't alone. Wu Tingqiu, Yan Mo, and the other geniuses from the superior sects were all frozen in shock, their faces painted with the same incomprehension. Above them, the exalted double dragons shared a subtle sigh of relief. "It's remarkable," exalted Bai Mei murmured, his voice carrying both awe and curiosity. The way she controlled the entire world's energy, and all by herself. Exalted, He Ran nodded, his gaze fixed on the young woman below, his eyes gleaming with intrigue. Most of the onlookers had no idea what had just transpired, let alone the depth of Chu Qingqing's feat. To them, she was merely a radiant stage cultivator. Yet, what she had achieved surpassed the understanding of even seasoned experts. The four-element cycle array was a formation requiring 4 participants, each deeply trusting the others to synchronize their efforts perfectly. But this reliance on unity was also its greatest weakness. A single moment of doubt, fear, or panic would cause the formation to crumble, a flaw Lu Kai had exploited with ruthless precision. His explosive attacks had targeted all 4 participants at once, forcing their coordination to break. The wounds on Shui Ruohua and the others bore grim testimony to this. The formation had collapsed the instant the explosions went off. But then Chu Qingqing had stepped forward. Utilizing her empty spirit body, she had taken the weight of the formation upon herself, balancing its immense power as though it were an extension of her own being. In that fleeting moment, the other 3 women became mere conduits, their yuan qi flowing through her as she maintained the formation single-handedly. Now those same women looked at her with a mixture of admiration and dejection. They had been necessary parts of the formation, until now. Chu Qingqing had proven she could bear the burden alone, leaving them feeling obsolete. As for Lu Xie, his gaze darkened with resentment, though a flicker of fear danced in his eyes. His thoughts churned in turmoil. This woman, she's a monster. He could barely fathom how such a person could even exist. Around him, scattered whispers and smirks cut through his pride like knives, deepening the fury in his chest. His fists clenched tighter, his mind clouded with humiliation. On the battlefield, Chu Qingqing's blade hovered inches from his throat. Her voice was calm but firm. "You've lost. You hurt my sisters, and for that I should do the same to you. But, since you're with Steward Zhuo, I will let you live." Her gaze shifted briefly toward Zhuo Fan, who, rather than bask in the admiration, found the clouds above far more fascinating. Arms crossed and expression sulky, he looked more like a pouting child than the scheming strategist many knew him to be. Yet, beneath that act, a flicker of relief softened his sharp features. She won at last, he thought, easing the tension in his chest. Meanwhile, Fiend Yang was not as composed. "That damn old Yun played us," he growled. "A draw, of all things. It's absurd." 6 ethereal stage experts, yet only one of them faced those women. If just one more of us had fought, Zhuo Fan cut him off with a sly smile. "Patience is a weapon too," he said lightly. Old Yun was waiting for this precise moment, a scenario with slim chances, but one he had meticulously prepared for. Had 4 of our ethereal stage experts been drawn against them, their formation wouldn't have stood a chance. He gambled, and luck finally sided with him. Fiend Yang shot him a sidelong glare. "You're too calm about this. Don't tell me you never intended to win this round." Zhuo Fan chuckled. "What's the big deal? There's still the team match. That's the one we'll undoubtedly win. But individual and team battles are scored differently. If you'd fought earlier, we'd have secured 4 more points. Now we're risking a tie." Zhuo Fan's smirk grew. "Even so, tying isn't the worst outcome. Focus on the bigger picture. As for sharing the reward, well..." He trailed off, leaving Fiend Yang muttering curses under his breath. Back on the stage, the judge raised his hand to declare the outcome. The 4 individual matches go to Mystical Heaven Sect. The crowd erupted into a cacophony of cheers, jeers, and scattered applause. Whispers swept through the stands, questioning the strength of the demon-scheming sect's ethereal stage experts. Was this really their best? Lucy's face twitched with suppressed rage as Chu Ching-cheng lowered her blade, letting the amassed world energy dissipate. Yet just as she turned away, Lucy struck. His palm crashed into her shoulder, sending her flying. Blood spurted from her lips as her body hit the ground with a sickening thud. "Ching-cheng!" Shui Ruohua cried, rushing to her fallen sister's side. The sight of Chu Ching-cheng's pale, pain-stricken face sent a chill through her. The judge stepped between Lucy and Chu Ching-cheng, his expression stern. "What do you think you're doing? The match is over!" "I haven't lost yet," Lucy roared, his eyes blazing with defiance. The judge's gaze hardened. "The outcome is clear. To continue fighting now is to forfeit your life. Do you truly wish to die?" Before Lucy could answer, a calm yet icy voice interrupted. "Who wouldn't be indignant?" Zhuo Fan's measured steps drew all eyes to him as he approached the stage. Lucy stiffened, his defiance melting into unease. Zhuo Fan patted his shoulder, his gaze sweeping over the judge and then to Chu Ching-cheng's trembling form. "The true winner is decided by death," he said, his tone even but cold. "As long as an opponent draws breath, they still have a chance. On this stage, unless one is killed or thrown out of bounds, there can be no victor." "Judge, haven't you been a bit hasty?" The judge hesitated, unable to refute his words. Nearby, Danner's voice rang out furious. "Sister Ching-cheng spared him because of you. She showed mercy only because of your connection." "For me?" Zhuo Fan's voice sharpened, his expression turning stern. "I am from the demon scheming sect. You are from Mystical Heaven Sect. Once we stepped into the double Dragon Manor, we became bitter enemies. If you show weakness here, you'll only have yourself to blame when it's exploited." Turning sharply, he gestured for Lucy to follow him. "The Elder's judgment stands, and we'll abide by it. But don't come crying to me when mercy leads to your death." Danner bristled, her fists trembling with anger. But Chu Ching-cheng, even in her weakened state, placed a calming hand on her arm. A faint smile graced her lips, her eyes lingering on Zhuo Fan before her world faded to black. "Ching-cheng!" Shui Ruohua's voice broke as she caught her unconscious sister. Her sharp eyes noticed the black smoke rising from Chu Ching-cheng's shoulder. "She's been poisoned." Zhuo Fan's fists clenched, his tranquil mask cracking for an instant before he regained his composure. As he returned to his seat, Lucy exhaled shakily, misreading Zhuo Fan's indifference as apathy. The Mystical Heaven Sect team, however, seethed with fury. Their leniency had been repaid with treachery. Elder Yun's voice cut through their anger. "Let this be a lesson. This is the way of demonic cultivators, merciless and deceitful. Never show them compassion again." With their resolve hardened, they watched as the next match was called. Yet their confidence faltered when their representative, a determined but inexperienced youth, was mercilessly slapped out of bounds by Yue Ling. The demon scheming sect's fiery confidence reignited, their laughter filling the air as they prepared for the next match. But Elder Yun's grin hinted at a hidden card yet to be played.